Thank you very much, Vincent. It's a real pleasure to be here. It's a real pleasure to follow Anne. I'm going to talk about transformation in a bit of a different way. We were just filled with all these wonderful stories of different brands that Anne shared. And I'm going to ask us to step back and talk, as Vincent just suggested, about what I call the impact economy. Good morning or good afternoon, Turkey time. It's pretty early here on the East Coast of the United States. Good morning, esteemed colleagues, entrepreneurs, investors, branding experts, and other practitioners in sustainability. Today, we converge in a unique setting, maybe not so unique for the 21st century, but many of you are gathered in Istanbul, while others like myself join virtually from different corners of the globe. And yeah, Istanbul, a city that has been at crossroads of flourishing civilizations for over 3,000 years. It's a city that holds a special place in my heart. I've visited Turkey and Istanbul twice, and among the many, many striking experiences I've had there, one memory has remained etched in my mind's eye for decades. It's actually a color. It's the unique shade of blue that dominates the walls, the pillars, and other parts of the Blue Mosque right there in Istanbul. This particular hue of blue was both unfamiliar and a bit strange to me, yet incredibly beautiful. Perhaps the most beautiful color of blue I have ever seen in my life. A vivid, spiritual blue that seems to transcend in that holy space, even the blue of the sky and that of the sea in its beauty. Well, why do I bring up this color? Because the way I experienced it, the way it penetrated deep into my consciousness, is reflective of the impact economy I will delve into today. And just as that shade of blue was both new and transformative to me, the impact economy offers a fresh, transformative approach to our current economic system. I was speaking of Istanbul as being a crossroads, and of this meeting also representing a crossroads. And it seems fitting that we unite in this manner to discuss another kind of crossroads, and that is the crossroads of capitalism itself. So, what if I told you capitalism as we know it is dead, or at least it's in desperate need of transformation? The key question is, what will take its place? What is taking its place? And that brings us to the notion of the impact economy. The impact economy is not a mere adjustment to our existing economic framework. It represents a profound paradigm shift. I would argue the most significant paradigm shift in economics thinking in 250 years, since Adam Smith published his landmark book, The Wealth of Nations. It's not about making incremental changes to the current system, but demands a fundamental rethinking of how we define success and measure value. Gone are the days where profit was the sole indicator of a business's success. In the impact economy, we prioritize a holistic approach that equally weighs the social and environmental impacts alongside economic outcomes. I have no doubt that most of you know this, as we are all practitioners here. But I want to step back, as I said earlier, and look at the sustainable business movement from a systems perspective. This transition is not the responsibility of a single entity or sector. It calls for unprecedented levels of collaboration across all facets of society. Businesses, regardless of their size or industry, governments at all levels, and civil society organizations must all come together, pooling resources, expertise, and influence. Each has a unique role to play, and only through collective action can we pave the way toward a more just and sustainable world for future generations. However, it's essential to approach this with open eyes. The journey towards an impact economy is certainly not a straight path to a utopia. We face real challenges, encounter much resistance, and experience many setbacks. But in my assessment, the potential benefits, a more prosperous, equitable, and sustainable future far outweighs the hurdles. By working together with a shared vision and unwavering commitment, we are redefining the very essence of the global economy. I doubt I need to tell you that as we stand here today in 2023, the world is grappling with unprecedented intersecting crises. That July 2023 was the hottest month globally ever recorded, with temperatures 1.12 degrees Celsius above the 20th century average. That August was the second hottest month on record after July. That climate change is not just a threat for the future, it is happening now. What is important to understand, too, is that the climate crisis exacerbates other issues like poverty and hunger. Right now, over 800 million people are chronically undernourished. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that we face a hurricane of humanitarian crises around the world. We're in the midst of a staggering biodiversity crisis. Human activity has caused average wildlife populations to plummet by 69% just since 1970. 1 million species are at risk of extinction. 1 million are at risk of extinction in the coming decades. All told, without immediate action, we face catastrophic sea level rise, food shortages, natural disasters, and societal collapse. And the challenges we face are not isolated. They are interconnected and complex. Climate change doesn't just affect the atmosphere, its impacts ripple out to destabilize systems of health, agriculture, economics, and far more. So we need solutions that take a holistic systems approach. The UN SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, to provide a model mapping out social, economic, and environmental objectives that must be pursued in tandem. For example, climate action is linked to eliminating poverty and hunger. Universal access to clean energy and a stable climate are essential for communities to survive. Solutions like circular thinking also exemplify this systems approach. The circular approach aims to decouple economic growth from the extraction of finite resources. It's centered around closed loop production and consumption cycles that eliminate waste and pollution at every stage. A circular approach requires cross-industry collaboration and a full life cycle mindset. So amidst all the doom and gloom that I gave you, and I'm sure you've heard elsewhere in this conference, a new economic paradigm is emerging that I believe is the antidote to these overlapping crises. It is the impact economy, where the word impact is defined as transformation. Impact equals transformation. The impact economy aims to transition capitalism to an economic system that delivers positive outcomes for people and planet. In recent years, impact investing and entrepreneurship have exploded in popularity. In 2021, over $715 billion was invested into companies and funds focused on social and environmental impact alongside financial returns. That's more than 15 times the amount invested just a decade before. Major corporations are getting into the action. You've just heard about a whole bunch of them. Other ones, PayPal, just pledged $100 million to fund Black-owned businesses. Unilever Sustainable Brands grew 69% faster than the rest of their businesses. Prominent B corporations like Patagonia, Ben & Jerry's, Seventh Generation, and Athleta are pioneering what it means to embed social and environmental impact into the core of their business models. In 2006, I founded one of the first 25 B Corps. Since then, the B Corp community has grown to over 5,000 companies across 80 countries, unified by the pursuit of business, using business as a force for good. This paradigm shift is so profound that our institutions of knowledge creation and governance must evolve as well. Academic institutions, especially business schools, need to radically update their curriculum to reflect the realities and needs of the 21st century. They should teach sustainable business models, impact measurement methodologies, ethical leadership principles, and systems thinking as core competencies, not elective courses. Policy must also adapt to nourish this budding impact economy so it can flourish. There are many ways that governments can incentivize and support sustainable businesses, such as tax breaks for investment in green technology, price guarantees for renewable energy production, targeted grants for eco-innovation and social enterprises, government procurement programs that preference B Corps and other impact-driven organizations. The European Union, for example, recently launched the ambitious Green Deal with binding sustainability targets across all sectors of the economy. Now, as we embark on this transformative journey towards a sustainable future, it's essential to understand and address the resistance we encounter. This resistance isn't merely a result of economic or political interests. It's rooted deeply in human psychology. At its core, many resist change due to cognitive dissonance, a psychological phenomenon where individuals experience discomfort when confronted with information that challenges their long-held beliefs or values. For instance, acknowledging the dire consequences of climate change might conflict with one's lifestyle choices, leading to a defensive stance against sustainable initiatives. This mental conflict can cause individuals and organizations to dismiss or downplay the urgency of the situation, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. Another significant barrier is the innate human fear of the unknown. Transitioning to an impact economy means venturing into uncharted territories, adopting new business models, and redefining success metrics. For many, this uncertainty can be paralyzing, leading to a preference for the status quo, even if it's detrimental in the long run. Lobbyists for industries like oil continue to fight climate action legislation, not just because of vested interests, but also due to the fear of obsolescence. Many investment banks are hesitant to take on B corporations as clients, not only because of perceived financial risks, but also because these new business models challenge established norms and practices. Similarly, academic journals that reject forward-thinking research on sustainable economics often do so because such research challenges the foundational paradigms upon which these institutions were built. It's not just about protecting the old ways, it's about the deep-seated fear of navigating the unfamiliar. Traditional corporations, driven by the bottom line and short-term shareholder value, find it challenging to pivot, although there are many examples, as you just been given, of those that are. But these other ones, their entire business models are built over decades. They rely on sustainable and extractive practices. So embracing the impact economy doesn't just mean making tweaks. It demands a fundamental rewriting of the rules of business. And this level of transformation can be very daunting, especially when it feels like stepping into the unknown. However, it's crucial to recognize and address these psychological barriers. By understanding the root causes of resistance, we can develop strategies to overcome them, fostering a more inclusive and proactive approach towards building the impact economy. So now I'd like to tell you a story that makes me believe deep transformation is possible. Amid the chaotic industrial revolution in 19th century England, the textile industry was booming, but it came at a devastating human cost. 33% of children under 10 worked dangerous jobs in textile factories because their families depended on the income. 18-hour days and awful conditions were common. Then in 1802, an industrialist named Robert Owen bought a textile mill in New Lanark, Scotland. He was determined to find a better way. Against intense criticism, Owen pioneered unheard of labor reforms like child labor laws, healthcare, and education for workers. New Lanark became a pioneering model of social innovation, proving that business could be a humanizing force. Owen's ideas went on to inspire new economic models like cooperatives and mutual banks. He laid the seeds for the cooperative movement, for trade unions and other important advances. So talk about systems change. And there are many modern examples too. Anne just gave a whole number in the previous keynote. Green technology is transforming the energy sector. Tesla has began the transition to electric vehicles. Architects like William McDonough are redesigning buildings and materials to be cradle to cradle with no waste. A new regenerative economy is emerging. And it's these examples that give me hope that collective will can triumph over inertia and systems can change. The stakes have never, ever been higher. We stand at a crossroads that will determine the fate of our civilization. Moving toward an impact economy from a single bottom line to a triple bottom line operating system is no longer a distant dream. It is an urgent necessity. This is our time to lead. I urge you to be the architects of this new economic system and challenge your creativity towards systems change. Be audacious. When the impact economy needs bold experimentation and pioneering leadership. When you face resistance, remember the skeptics said carriages didn't need engines either. Progress is unstoppable when purpose is clear. In the wise words of the 13th century Persian Sufi poet Rumi, don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. This is our moment to unfold our own myth, to write our own story of transformation and triumph. And just as the mesmerizing blue of Istanbul's Blue Mosque left an indelible mark on my consciousness, I hope the ideas and visions shared today leave a lasting impression on yours. Let that vivid spiritual blue serve as a reminder of the transformative power of the impact economy, a shade of economic thinking that has the potential to be as beautiful and profound as that unforgettable hue. And let's together build the walls and pillars of our temple of holiness, the impact economy, and adorn them with that color blue. Let it inspire us to dream, to innovate, and to act with passion and purpose. And now let's get to work. Our future is counting on us. Thank you for your time and for daring to dream big. I can't wait to see the impact economy we build together.